People often ask me how to learn faster. I get that question all the time, especially from people who attend my seminars or training programs. Many of them are already experts in their field, and they say, Brendon, I really want to grow. I want to be a high performer in what I do, and I know that to reach that level, I need to learn faster. So how can I actually do that? And well, before we talk about how to learn faster, let me first tell you what not to do. Most people jump straight in and say things like, I want to learn faster. I want to do speed reading. I want to learn a new language. I want to pick up new skills. They create a long list of things they want to learn. But here's the problem. Most people aren't serious about it. They're what I call temporary learners. They say they want to learn, but it's not a real commitment. You hear people say things like, someday I'll learn French. Someday I'll learn how to take good photos. Someday I'll start a blog. Someday I'll make videos. And guess what? That someday never comes. They don't actually do it because learning doesn't happen someday. Learning happens only when you do it consistently. If you really want to learn faster, you have to change the way you think about learning itself. It can't just be about a bunch of random little goals that you try for a week and forget. That never works. Just like people who say they'll go on a diet for a month to lose 5 pounds, they rarely stick with it. To stay consistent, you need a bigger reason, a broader vision for who you are and what kind of life you want to live. It's the same thing with learning. If you want to keep learning regularly, you have to see it as part of your larger life vision. You need to connect what you're trying to learn to the kind of life you dream of having. If there's no connection between your learning goals and your ideal lifestyle, you won't stay motivated. I tell people all the time, don't just make a list of random things you'd like to learn. Because honestly, as human beings, we all want to learn everything. We're naturally curious. It's built into us. But our curiosity can also scatter our focus. Everyone wants to learn 50 different things at once, but in the end, they master none of them. Why? Because it's not real for them. It's not connected to a deeper purpose. To become a great learner, your learning must be linked to your dream life, to a vision that truly excites you. For example, let's say you want to learn French. Lots of people say, someday I'll learn French. It's a beautiful language. It sounds romantic. I love French food. I love the culture. That's nice. But if there's no deeper reason, like a real dream of visiting France, having conversations with locals, maybe even living there for a while, then you won't put in the effort to actually learn it. Without a strong why, it just won't happen. You have to understand what kind of life you want before you can become a master learner. Let me say that again. You must know what kind of life you want to create before you can learn effectively. When you're clear about what you want from life, what kind of experiences you want every day, what kind of person you want to become, then learning becomes focused and meaningful. Otherwise, you'll just jump from topic to topic, dabbling in everything but mastering nothing. Real mastery begins when you ask yourself, what do I want my life to stand for? Once you know that, you can start building the knowledge, skills, and abilities that will actually move you toward that vision. That's when you turn into a true learner, not someone who just learns randomly, but someone who learns with purpose. For me, that's exactly how it happened. I realized that my dream life involved being a writer, a teacher, and a trainer. I wanted to help people grow and reach their full potential. So I made a list of every skill I would need to achieve that: writing, speaking, teaching, psychology, marketing, communication, and then I got serious about mastering each one. I didn't just dabble or watch a few tutorials. I made it my lifestyle every day. I focused on learning something that would bring me closer to the life I wanted. That's what separates the people who learn fast from those who stay stuck. Fast learners aren't necessarily smarter. They're just more intentional. They know why they're learning something, and that purpose pushes them to focus, practice, and stay consistent. When you understand that connection between learning and your dream life, you'll notice a huge shift. Learning won't feel like a chore anymore. It'll feel exciting, because every new skill will take you one step closer to the person you want to become. So if you really want to learn faster, stop asking what to learn and start asking why you want to learn it. Tee every bit of knowledge you gain to your goals and dreams. Then commit to learning every day, not just when you feel like it. When you do that, when you learn with purpose, you'll not only learn faster, you'll transform your entire life along the way. I wanted to become an online thought leader. I dreamed of writing books, training people in person, and mastering online marketing so I could spread my message across the world. My hope was to inspire others to live more completely, to love with more honesty, and to make a real difference in the lives around them. I had my message, and I had the mediums to share it: books, live seminars, events, and online platforms. That was part of my dream life. To get there, I had to learn things I never thought I would. I had to learn how to record and edit videos. I had to figure out how to design and build websites. I had to study online marketing and understand what to do on Facebook, how to use YouTube effectively, and how to grow a podcast. I had to learn all of it. I became a serious learner because I was fully connected to my mission. That's what gave me the energy to keep going. You won't really know what to study or what skills to master until you know what your mission is. Once you have a dream or a clear purpose, the path becomes obvious. Without that, you just play around with random skills. You might dabble in a few things, but never really dive in deep enough to get good. But once you know what you want your life to stand for, once you identify your real passions, you start to understand exactly what you need to learn. From that moment, everything shifts. Now, I'm not saying you must have your ultimate life purpose all figured out before learning anything. But if you want to learn faster, start getting clear about your direction. Once you do, your learning will speed up naturally. The process becomes much more meaningful because now there's a reason behind it. When it comes to learning, one key thing always matters first: examples. Every learning tactic starts with examples. If you want to learn something, you must find a model. Look for someone who has already done what you want to do. Study them. Read about them. Watch how they do it. Experience their work. Don't start from zero, because starting from scratch is the hardest and slowest way to learn. When you try to figure everything out alone, without any foundation or example, you waste so much time. You're basically reinventing the wheel, even though the wheel has existed for thousands of years. That's why the worst mistake in learning is saying, "I'll just figure it out myself." That's not real learning. That's just stumbling around without direction. Someone has already walked the path before you. Someone has already made the mistakes, found the answers, and shared the lessons. Learn from them. So go read a book about a person who achieved what you want. Take a course from someone who has already succeeded in the same field. Follow a mentor online who teaches what you want to master. There are so many examples and resources available today that can guide you. Start with those. Because once you have the dream and know what you want to achieve, the next step is learning from people who've already done it. That shortcut will save you years. After that comes practice. Practice is everything. You need consistent, focused practice to master any skill. If you really want to learn something, you can't just do it occasionally. You must make it a part of your daily life. Daily exposure and consistent repetition are what create mastery. If you want to learn piano, you can't go to lesson once a month and expect results. If you want to learn French, you won't get far speaking it only once a week. It has to be daily or at least close to it. Learning something deeply takes time, patience, and constant effort. You must fully immerse yourself in it again, over a long period of time. It can't just be a weekend workshop or a short online course. It's not a one-time effort. You have to live inside it. For me, that's how personal development became a lifelong study. I made it a rule to read at least one book a week on self, growth, and learning. I've done that for 17 years straight. I never missed a single week, not even when I was in the hospital. That was my dedication. I wanted to understand life. I wanted to master my own mind, because that's what mastery really is. It's not about talent or luck. It's about showing up every single day and choosing to learn. It's about following examples, practicing consistently, and staying devoted to your purpose. Once you do that, you'll grow faster than you ever thought possible. You'll look back and realize that every book, every course, every practice session was leading you toward your dream. And that's when you know you're not just learning anymore. You're living the life you once imagined. When I decided that I was going to master my mind, my relationships, my finances, and my health, it became so important to me that I made it a part of my daily life. I read every single day something that could help me grow personally, and I never skipped a day. That's the same approach I take with everything I want to learn. Whenever I pick up a new skill, I dive in completely. When I wanted to learn about making videos, I threw myself into understanding cameras, lighting, and editing. In the beginning, I was doing it all on my own before we had Mr. Shields here handling things like a pro. Back then, it was just me trying to figure it out piece by piece, learning by doing. When I wanted to make websites, I worked on them every single day, building, testing, improving. When I wanted to understand coding, I studied and practiced daily. When I wanted to learn about online marketing, same thing every day without fail. If you're someone who says, "I don't have time to learn something every day," then what you're really saying is that you're giving every day to the slow decline of your skills. Don't tell me you can't take at least a little time each day to learn and grow. If you truly believe you can't, then you're not managing your life properly. And I'm not saying that to be rude or harsh. I'm just being real with you. Deep down, you probably already know it. If you aren't making time every single day to learn something, then I honestly don't think you'll ever develop mastery in any area. And without mastery, without becoming truly skilled at something, you'll never be among the most influential people in your field. You won't be the highest paid, and you won't feel deeply connected to your work, where it becomes art and part of who you are. That's what a lot of people are missing right now, a true sense of mastery in their life. Because when we aren't mastering something, when we're not trying to improve, we lose the feeling of progress. And when we stop feeling progress, we stop feeling that deep sense of satisfaction, joy, and fulfillment that only comes from being great at something. You have to be practicing something constantly, at least a little bit every day. Even if it's just checking in, reading about it, studying someone who's already doing it, following their posts online, reading a few pages of a book, or watching a short video, whatever it is, make it a daily routine. Do it for a long period of time, and people will start asking, wow, how did you get so good at this? And you'll simply tell them, I worked on it every day. There's no secret to it. I got good because I showed up daily. I became comfortable on camera because I practiced constantly. I don't need a script anymore. I can just speak naturally. That comfort came from repetition, from immersion, from making it a consistent habit. That's what mastery is. It's the result of steady practice and learning over time. Whatever dream or goal you have to stay dedicated to learning about it. You have to be immersed in it. The next big step is getting feedback. You can't grow to the highest level without feedback. If you want to be a world-class athlete, you need a coach. If you want to be the best in your profession, you need someone to review your work and give you honest feedback. Maybe it's a mentor who looks at your presentations or your art. Maybe it's a friend who has a good eye for detail and can give constructive advice. You might say, hey, can you take a look at this before I send it out? That's how you grow, by allowing people to give you perspective. Your feedback can come from anyone, a friend, a family member, your spouse, or your partner. Let someone see what you're creating and share their thoughts. They might say, I like this, or I don't think this part works. And that's okay. Now, it's important to understand that not all feedback is good for you. Some people are just harsh or judgmental, and their words can destroy your motivation. Don't let cruel or meaningless criticism stop your learning. The goal of feedback is not to make you feel bad, it's to help you improve. If someone's feedback comes from a negative place, ignore it. It has no real value. But if it comes from someone who knows you, someone you respect and trust, even if it's tough to hear, listen carefully. You don't have to like it. You just have to look for the useful part. I get tough feedback all the time. People online can be brutal. On YouTube, for example, I've had people say mean, even horrible things about me, my life, or my business. Some of it is completely made up, but I don't let it affect me. I see it, but it doesn't mean anything. And it shouldn't mean anything to you either. When people don't know your heart, when they don't really know who you are, their opinions are meaningless. But when someone truly knows you, when they understand your heart, your values, and your effort, and they give you feedback, then that's worth listening to. Do you know who you really are? Sometimes people give you feedback, but you might not like the way it's shared. Maybe they sounded too direct, too harsh, or maybe even a little rude. But I don't need you to focus on the emotion behind how they said it. I don't need you to sit with the sting of their words. What matters most is whether the actual message they gave has truth in it. Is the content of what they said relevant or useful in helping you learn and grow? If the answer is yes, then you have to take that content for what it's worth. Look past the delivery and search for that small piece of wisdom hidden inside. Sometimes that insight is wrapped up in something that feels unpleasant, maybe even offensive, but there's often still a nugget of truth sitting there. You can quote me on this. It might be wrapped in something that looks bad, but there's still value in it. There's usually something you can take from it and say, all right, that's actually helpful. If you tried applying it, maybe it could really make you better. That's what's important here. You already know these things deep down. You have to hold on to your dream. What is the dream you're really chasing? What is the passion that keeps you alive? What is your purpose, your sense of vitality? That bigger story you want to live out, that legend you want to create, the thing you truly want to give back to the world. What is it? Once you know that, ask yourself, what would I have to learn to reach that dream? Because when you know the answer, you'll find yourself more excited to learn those things. You'll realize that every lesson you take brings you one step closer to the life you want. You'll be passionate about it because it's personal. It's directly tied to your dream. Within every single thing you're learning, ask, what's my goal here? What do I really want to understand or master? Then go out and find examples. Watch how others do it. Practice it again and again. Get feedback from people who've done it before. The next important part is setting a timeline. How quickly do you want to learn this? How fast do you need to improve? Is this something you plan to master this month, this year, or maybe over the next 10 years? Give yourself a real timeline for mastery so that your growth doesn't drift aimlessly. That way, you're not just wandering, you're building a clear map of progress, a roadmap of skills that point toward who you're becoming. Think of it as your personal competency map. You know exactly what you need to learn. You've found the people you can learn from, those who can teach or guide you, and you've surrounded yourself with good examples. You're practicing the right habits, you're collecting feedback from the right sources, and you know the time frame you're working within. You've made a decision about when you'll be great at this thing. Once you commit to that process, you'll start learning faster. You'll notice that you feel more connected to your own life. You'll find yourself more enthusiastic about learning every day. You'll start noticing details others miss. You'll begin to feel like you're truly growing. And the best part is, that feeling of growth makes you more satisfied. It gives you energy and joy. That's what we mean when we talk about living a charged life, feeling truly alive, aware, and full of momentum. You become more curious. You start to appreciate every little step in the process. Even mistakes start feeling useful because they're part of the path. Every bit of feedback, every failure, every success becomes part of your learning fuel. You stop taking things so personally and start taking them purposefully. You don't just react to life, you engage with it. You lean into it with courage and clarity. You learn faster, you love deeper, and you live with more meaning. That's how growth feels when you're aligned with your dream and purpose. That's the power of learning intentionally. That's what it means to live a truly charged life.